Wellness for Life is brought to you by Back in Motion Physical Therapy, Gothenburg Chiropractic Clinic, MAHUBE-OTWA Community Action Partnership, Lakeside Sports and Pain Clinic, and Thomason, Swanson, and Zahn Attorneys at Law.
Hi, it's JT. We're at MAHUBE-OTWA today and speaking with Chandler. And let's talk a little bit about the Family Health Program that you're in charge of. I've never heard of the Family Health Program, so what is it?
Right, so family health can be a little bit of a misnomer. I think it's a little bit different than what people think. So family health is actually our family planning program here. It is a local program. We have locations in a bunch of different counties that MAHUBE works with. And so what we do is we provide low-cost reproductive health services for people in the area.
So low-cost reproductive services, what are some of those services that you're offering?
Absolutely. So we provide birth control options counseling, kind of depending on whatever our client is interested in. We provide pregnancy testing, STI testing, and of course all of these services are confidential.
And if you're in need of some of those services, what might be your first steps? Who's it available to?
Sure. So it's available to everyone. If you have insurance, if you don't have insurance, we do have a sliding fee scale. So that goes based off of your income. So you might be eligible for some assistance, and it's also confidential. So even if you're, a younger client and maybe have some confidentiality concerns, we are more than happy to take you as well. The first step, depending on how tech savvy you are, we do have a Facebook page that has all of our contact information on there. You can also go to the MAHUBE website, or you can go to Family Planning Central Minnesota, centralmn.org, which is our personal website, and get all of our contact information there as well. Otherwise, you can always just call down to the MAHUBE office here in DL or even in Fergus Falls or Wadena, and they will be able to get you connected with the Family Health Program.
Sure. So let's say we make that phone call to the Family Health Program and set up an appointment. What's an appointment going to look like when I walk in the door? Absolutely.
So the first thing that you're going to do is you'll be directed to the window. Depending on the location that we're at, we have some locations that are in the Community Action Building and some are a standalone clinic. But you'll walk up to the window and you'll give your name, and then they'll have you fill out a demographic form. And then depending on whether or not you're eligible for some of our funding streams, you might have to fill out a little bit more paperwork, but it's definitely worth it. A lot of times it will pay for your entire visit. And then you'll wait for a little bit, you'll see a nurse, and then you'll see a provider, and they'll counsel you through whatever you're there for that day, and then you'll wrap up with a patient survey and you'll be good to go.
So you've been working with the Family Health Program here at MAHUBE-OTWA for a while, and that's just maybe one of the things that you do. What are some of the other things that you do here at MAHUBE-OTWA with the Family Health Program?
So we do a lot of community education as well. We try to get out into the schools to educate young people about making healthy choices and having healthy relationships. We also work hard to just do general outreach to students to make sure students, community members, families, to make sure that they know that we're available, especially when it comes to some of our Head Start parents. We want to make sure that they're accessing resources if they need them, and we do provide vaccinations as well. So for example, if we have a child who attends Head Start from MAHUBE, and they have an older sibling who's maybe 9 years old, you can start getting some of the Gardasil vaccines as early as 9. So we want to make sure that people have that education piece to know that we have a plethora of services for all family members.
Sure, and there's probably a handful of folks that don't even know that exists.
Yeah, so we just really want to get the message out there that we're here and we have funding available if you need it. We accept a variety of insurance plans. So even if you have insurance, even if you like going to your local doctor, if you feel like maybe you want just that added confidentiality, or someone who really specializes in this program or this field of work, we're here for you.
Well, let's talk quickly a little bit about the funding. So where is your funding coming from to provide some of these services in our area?
Absolutely. So some of our funding comes through the state of Minnesota and some of it comes through the government. And then there's also a special program called the Minnesota Family Planning Program, which you can apply for in our office. And if you qualify, you get all of your birth control related services paid for by the state for an entire year. So it's a really awesome opportunity.
The MAHUBE-OTWA Family Health Program, and Chandler heads up that department here. Lots of information, lots of things that they're doing. Chandler, thank you so much for spending just a little bit of time talking about what you're doing here at MAHUBE-OTWA.
Thank you.
Coming up on Wellness for Life.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Wheaton of Lakeside Sports and Pain Clinic in Excelsior, Minnesota, and here in Monaga, Minnesota. We specialize in natural treatments of chronic pain. So in the last episode, we talked about prolotherapy and what it is. Today, we're going to be going a little further into why you should avoid anti-inflammatory drugs and cortisone injections. So cortisone is a substance that many of you have heard of, probably watching athletes in the news get cortisone shots in their knee or hip or shoulder to allow them to get back into the game. The problem is that what you don't know or don't see is that when that person gets back in the game, they're doing more damage to their joint even though the pain might be relieved. See, the reason cortisone is used at all is because it does give a pain relieving effect for a period of time. But in so doing, it damages the tissues such as the cartilage, the ligaments, the tendons inside the joints. So over a period of time, those structures begin to break down, compromising the joint and leading to deterioration. And down the road can lead to unnecessary surgeries and joint replacement. So cortisone, while it seems like a benign substance, really isn't. And so you ought to think very hard before you decide to get a cortisone shot in your joints for treating your chronic pain. Similarly, anti-inflammatory drugs such as ibuprofen or Aleve or Motrin, drugs like that, have the similar type of effect in that they block inflammation, which causes pain. But when you take those drugs, what you really are doing, you're discouraging the body from healing as it naturally should. And it's not like you're deficient in ibuprofen anyway. What you really need is to have the joints treated and repaired. And when the joints are treated and repaired, they become stable and the pain then goes away. So you're not masking the pain like you get with cortisone, but you get an actual healing effect that is long-term and does not damage the joints. So restoration of stability through the use of prolotherapy, stronger joints, better range of motion, better function are long-term benefits of having the prolotherapy treatment method used instead of resorting to the short-term damaging effects of anti-inflammatory drugs and cortisone. Patients will often come to me and say, well, I've got this disc problem in my back, or I have what appears to be some kind of a tear in my knee or my shoulder. And they might say, can I just get that repaired by surgery? Well, that's a good question to ask, because when you see something on an MRI, you think, well, that's not right, it's abnormal, so wouldn't it be easier just to fix it, like going in there and replacing a spark plug in your car, or fixing anything that needs repair? The problem with that philosophy is that the minute you enter a joint, you introduce the possibility of infection, and then when the surgeon's in there, he might be taking out more tissue than you really bargained for at the beginning. He may repair something, and of course the recovery period in the repair process can take a long time. The ultimate surgery, of course, is when a joint gets so damaged that it seems to be beyond repair and the person has a joint replacement. So the person is now receiving artificial parts that consists of some form of metal or titanium plus plastic, and those are foreign substances in your joint. Now, they may relieve pain for a period of time. In many cases, they don't even relieve pain at all, because the original source of the problem is, again, the ligaments that support the joint. So I would caution you not to just automatically assume just because you see something on an MRI or a surgeon tells you that, oh yeah, I can just go into the joint and repair that. It's not as simple as that, and often leads to further deterioration, not to mention the scar tissue that it produces. So before you go in for surgery, make sure you get a consultation. Come to Lakeside Sports and Pain Clinic to visit with me, and I will give you a very thorough examination and discuss whether you might be a candidate for prolotherapy and solve the problem using your body's natural method to try to heal the problem, because you can get a long-term healing effect and avoid that surgery you thought you needed and keep your original parts for as long as possible. So I would just conclude by saying avoid surgery and avoid cortisone shots and avoid anti-inflammatories at all costs. Not to say that surgery is never needed in some cases, but far too many surgeries are performed when the treatment could be as simple as getting prolotherapy and improve your function and reduce your pain for good. If you have any questions or want to know more about prolotherapy or whether you'd be a candidate for the treatment, please don't hesitate to call us at 952-593-0500 or go online at drmarkwheaton.com.
Thank you for watching Wellness for Life. Brought to you by Back in Motion Physical Therapy, Gothenburg Chiropractic Clinic, MAHUBE-OTWA Community Action Partnership, Lakeside Sports and Pain Clinic, and Thomas & Swanson & Zahn Attorneys at Law.